Welcome to Running on Reddit. Like and subscribe, or you'll be running on fumes. Fuel clerk. A man came to pay for gas and gave me the most ridiculous request I've ever heard in my entire life. "Ma'am, I got gas from one of your stores in nearby city and their gas is cheaper. Can you guys match that for me? I got the receipt right here." Me, complete disbelief. "What? Ma'am, I just need a little more gas and it's more expensive here. Can you just match the price for me since I have the receipt?" Me, "No, we can't change the price of our gas unless we are being told to by corporate. Sorry, ma'am, that doesn't make sense that you can't honor their price. You're the same company. Can you call someone and see if you were supposed to lower it to what they have it at?" Me, "No, they call us when it's time to change the price. I'm sorry, ma'am. Can I speak to a manager about it?" Me, in emotional pain. "Yes, it'll be a minute because I have to call them and they have to walk down here. We are part of a grocery store." He literally waited for 10 minutes for a manager to show up and tell him the same thing I did. He ended up leaving without getting gas at all. I wonder how big the price difference was, especially since it was a nearby city. Imagine if that happened over a 5-cent difference. I work in a small grocery store and we stock fresh bread from a local bakery, which is sold unsliced. It's that fancy booty sourdough stuff that everyone loves, and it's super popular to the point where we sell out almost every day and have people calling up to keep loaves aside for them. Anyway, one evening this lady comes up to the till and presents me with one of the big sourdoughs and starts to tell me this randomly detailed story about how she bought this bread for her son so he could make sandwiches to take on his flight to Milan. However, according to her, this wasn't possible because the bread wouldn't slice and just crumbled apart when they tried to cut it, as her son was already away on his flight, sadly without his sourdough sandwiches. She now had returned for a full refund. I already knew she was going to be a pain, but just to prove a point, I took the bread from her and gave it to one of the deli guys and asked him to slice it. Lo and behold, it sliced perfectly with minimal effort as I expected. Brought it back to her to show her the sliced and explained there was clearly nothing wrong with it, which she somehow still didn't believe, even though it was right in front of her face. Cue my co-worker chiming in, saying maybe her knife wasn't sharp enough, but no, she couldn't even give that as her excuse. She just kept saying it was different that morning. I offered to slice it all up for her to take home, but apparently it was too late because of course the bread was specifically for those flight sandwiches and couldn't be used for anything else. Honestly, it was more funny than anything, but I was kinda annoyed because my co-worker decided to give her a refund anyway because she was so argumentative. I really wish people would stop giving refunds just because people make a scene. Anyway, this was probably the dumbest return I've ever had to deal with and still makes me chuckle to this day. Don't buy a loaf of bread if you don't know how to slice it. I don't think I have ever heard of someone returning a loaf of bread, especially because it couldn't be cut. Let me know in the comments below if you get your bread pre-sliced or cut it yourself. I work in a large makeup store. We got a call last night right after we closed. They asked for a manager, so I had to stop my closing procedures to talk to this person. Once I get on the phone, I can tell this girl is under 20 years old. We'll call her A for annoying. "A, I just wanted to let you know what happened because this is really frustrating. My mind immediately thinks this is an in-store complaint she's going to have and I'm going to have to deal with. Great. A, so I bought this foundation and I used most of it up, but towards the end of the bottle it got really weird and started turning orange on my face. I got the shade 200, but it wasn't like that before, and I'm just really upset because I spent a lot on that foundation and now I can't use it." Me, "Okay, I'm so sorry about that. That's really frustrating. You told me you used the shade 200, but what foundation is it?" A, "Oh, I can't remember. I threw away the bottle since I couldn't use it anymore." Me, "Okay, well how long ago did you buy it?" A, "Probably a couple months ago." Me, "Okay, well foundations do expire and over time they can change consistency and color once they go bad, but I'm sorry about that." A, "So, can I get a refund or something?" Me, "Didn't you say you threw away the product?" Yeah. Me. Well, to process any refund, we have to have the product returned to us. Oh. Long silence. So is there anything you can do for me? Me. No, I'm sorry. Unless you can find the product, I can't do anything. In a super passive tone. I guess I'll have to buy a new foundation then. I have no idea what to say at this point, so I just don't say anything. After a few seconds of silence, I guess I'll have to buy a new foundation then. Me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Well, I'm just going to go to another kind of store then. Me. Okay, is there anything else I can help you out with? There was just silence after this, so I repeated myself and kept saying hello until she hung up. We have a very lenient return policy. You can use products about halfway up. You just have to return them by 60 days of the purchase. We also have a loyalty program that saves their purchases, so we don't usually need receipts either. But we have to have the damn product to return it. TLDR, customer over the phone wanted a refund for a product she threw away. The economy would be such a mess if people could get refunds without even having the product. I work in the electronics section of my local location of a popular department store. The town is largely populated by old/retired people, so I'm used to explaining technology in a simple to understand way. With that out of the way, onto the story. I'm stocking shelves when I see an older man staring at cables and muttering to himself. I put on a smile, walk over, and do my whole hello, welcome to store, how may I help you thing. Man, I'm so sick and tired of needing so many cables to connect my technology. I have an iPad, a phone, and a computer, and it's a pain to connect it all. Me. I completely understand, sir. What kind of cable? Him. I have a camera and I want to connect it with my computer. Me. Oh, okay. No problem, sir. Those kinds of cables are right over here. Now, we have the USB-C and micro USB cables mixed in with each other, so I figure I should let him know which is which. I've done the same thing with plenty of other people and they were more than capable of figuring it out. Me. So, make sure when you're selecting your cable, him, these are too expensive. Me. Well, sir, this is the cheapest that these cables usually go for. Now, when you're selecting a cable, make sure it says micro USB on the box, like him, I don't understand. Me. Well, sir, some of these are what are known as micro USB, which is what fits your camera. Some of these are USB-C. Him, what are you saying? Me. I understand the confusion, sir. The names are similar. Him. No, I don't understand your terminology. Me. Sir, I understand, but that's what I'm trying to explain. Him. Clearly you don't understand people. I'm a terrible worker. I'm out of touch, etc. At this point, I realize he's going to refuse any kind of help, so I decide to take our cheapest cable, peel off the tape keeping it shut, and show him the end. He yanks the cable out of my hand as I'm in the middle of saying, "Is this what you're looking for?" and starts walking towards the exit, and I chase after him, explaining that he needs the box in order to check out. He barks that he doesn't need it, finally grabbing it out of my hand when I restate that he needs a barcode if he intends to pay for it. He barks something about teaching me how to work as I sigh and go back to stocking boxes. At the end, it sounded like the man was about to steal the cable. Was kind of hoping the cops would get involved for shoplifting. For context, I work in a cafe, and this story happened earlier today. We often have a lot of kids come in as we do a mini hot chocolate for pretty cheap. Today, a little girl came in and asked for one of these hot chocolates. The girl was maybe 3 or 4, presumably had been sent by her parents with some change, so they didn't have to bother to get up. Except, when I went to take her change she didn't have enough. As these drinks are really cheap, she was only about 20p short. Just as I was about to give it to her for free, "Hey, if the bosses can't see you, right?" An elderly woman in the queue behind her asked, "How much are you short, dear?" and proceeded to pay for the little girl's drink, plus cream. Around Christmas time, customers are generally really rude, and this exchange actually made my day, as silly as that may sound. So I told the old woman that her drink was on the house. She broke into the biggest smile, thanked me profusely, and put the money she was handing over to me to pay for her own drink in the tips jar. Sometimes I love working in retail. That story was so sweet. I'm glad that everyone was able to enjoy some nice hot chocolates around Christmas. So I work part-time at a convenience store while going to college on my GI Bill. Really, it's just to keep me busy while I'm not in school or gaming. We recently had 2 people quit, so my part-time hours for the last couple weeks have been full-time. Stretched between full-time school, full-time work and full-time gaming, my days have been much more stressful than normal, and today I got a Karen in line. Behind her is a regular customer who I've waited on a million times. I was ringing her up, and she had too many items for our bag carousel, so I had to put some off to the side. When she turned it to begin picking up her bags, some fell over onto the ground. I go to pick them up, but that's not enough for her. She demands that I give them to her for free, which I can't, because I dropped paper towel and napkins. I explain I can't, since nothing broke, and she goes off on tangent about how I was rude, threw her stuff on the ground, and this is why I'm clerking in a store and don't have a real job. I look around and see no one else around besides my regular, so I lean in real close and go, "Hey lady, you're a bit of a dummy head. Just so you know." She's flabbergasted, starts yelling and screaming for my manager, so I call him up. He listens and then asks me what happened. I tell him she began yelling, so I told her she was being rude and never called her a dummy head. My manager says he knows me personally and knows I would never do that. She points to the regular behind her and tells my manager that he heard it. The regular goes, "OP didn't say anything like that. This lady is nuts." So my manager tells her that since her transaction is over, she has to leave. She's red in the face at this point and storms outside, saying she's gonna fix my fanny. I watch her go outside to make sure she isn't coming back with a gun or anything, but now she's screaming at her husband in her car. He comes in after a minute or so and apologizes to me and says he knows how she can get and I should just ignore her. He apologizes for the trouble again and they leave. It's been the best day of my retail life. Don't you wish in your heart of hearts you could say something like that to a rude customer and get away with it? Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the bell or you'll be running on fumes. See you in the next video.